guys, welcome back to my channel. I am feeling very ready to tell this story today. So I have done a couple story times here on my channel, but I don't really know why I haven't really shared this one. This one is something that's actually changed my life, has honestly been a big part of why I have so much anxiety and why my life is the way it is today. I know a lot of you probably know bits and pieces, but I feel like I've just never told the whole story, and I do know that I have a lot of new people here, and so a lot of people probably don't even know what I'm even going to talk about, and so I am just going to be sharing my story today of how a car accident literally saved my life. And the title is 100% true. A car accident really did save my life. I was on a mission for my church, and it was just basically like a service mission where I went and I taught people about Jesus Christ, and I helped uplift people with messages. And during my mission, I had a little bit of like neck pain and back pain, and I thought it was just because I was like having a backpack on every day. We were walking a ton. So long story short, I was sent home from my mission, and it was really hard because I was supposed to be on my mission for 1.5 years, and it was just hard to cut it short, and I didn't understand why, and I really felt like I was a failure, and I failed God, and I didn't serve him for a long enough amount of time and everything, and that was just something I was kind of struggling with in that time. But now I 100% know that that was God's plan for me, was to only be there for 6 months. So flash forward, after a mission, I got home and I was trying to go back to the normal life, and I started working for a YouTube family, the Ohana Adventure, and I was working. Josh, my husband, he was on a mission in Argentina doing the same thing that I was doing, but he didn't get home for like about 1 year, so I was just basically there waiting for him to come home and just working and all the things. And so the neck pain, I didn't really have any neck pain or anything when I came home from my mission, so that was really hard because I felt like even more of a failure, like that maybe it was in my head or something. I wasn't really sure. As time went on, you know, I was finally getting back into a routine of just being home again, working, just like the normal life. I was 19 at the time. I came home from my mission in September, and then this was around March. So me and my mom and some of my sisters, we were gonna go up to a bridal shower. So we got in the car, and it was my mom's car, but I decided to drive, or my mom wanted me to drive. I can't really remember how that all worked out, but so I was driving to the bridal shower. It was about like 4 or 5 hours away from us. So it was gonna be like a little bit of a drive, and usually before we go on like car rides and stuff, we just say a prayer to ask God to keep us safe and to keep the cars around us safe and aware and everything like that. But for some reason we forgot, and not really like, and I'm not saying that's why we got in a car accident or anything. It's just like, it's just kind of funny how we forgot when we normally always like say a prayer. But I think we've been driving for like 2-ish hours, maybe 3, and it was in the spring. This was March, and so like there wasn't really like snow or anything, but we just stopped for gas and food, and then we got back on the road, and as we were driving, I went around a bend, and apparently it still had like some ice and snow because it wasn't like melted from the previous days. And so as I was driving, we hit black ice. Now, I've never driven in snow, but I do remember like what to do if you ever hit black ice or you start sliding. So I started pumping my brakes, and I was honestly trying to, you know, control the steering wheel. So I look to the left of me, and I see like this median in the road, a complete concrete median, and we kind of start going towards it, and we're just sliding in our cars on this ice, which felt like forever, and we were spinning, and finally we hit into a big mountain on the right side of us, and we just crashed, and I remember just blacking out. I remember my siblings in the back screaming, asking me what I was doing. Obviously they were in shock, and they weren't understanding that we were on ice, and anyways, we hit into the mountain, I remember like just blacking out and just thinking this is the end of my life and my family's life. And I remember hitting the mountain, everything went black, and then I remember opening my eyes and the car was totaled. It was on its side. I remember looking up, and my mom was pregnant at the time with my little brother. I remember looking up, my mom was above me hanging. Some of my siblings weren't in their seatbelts because we literally just got on the road from that gas station, and apparently a couple of them, not all of them, but a couple of them didn't put on their seatbelts. So nobody flew out of the car or anything. We were just all in the car. My mom said, is everyone okay? Was everyone in their seatbelt? Some of the girls saying, I wasn't in my seatbelt. I wasn't in my seatbelt. I was just pressing down on the brake, even though we were flipped upside down and the brakes didn't matter. I didn't know. I'm like, Mom, can I put my foot off the brake? And it just smelled like smoke, like tires. It was like smoky and foggy in there. And we didn't know if anybody was hurt. It was crazy. And you're probably like, Cass, how the heck did that save your life? I'm confused. Well, just keep watching. It will all make sense. Anyways, we see these guys coming from the windows. My window is just broken on the floor because I'm just like down and my mom's above me, so I'm like at the lower part. So these guys come and they pull out my mom because she's pregnant, and they pull out my sister, and I remember them saying there was blood and stuff, but we didn't know obviously how bad. We were all kind of like, mostly I feel like I was in shock. And so they were pulling us out. These nice guys were pulling us out one by one, helping us. And I remember I was looking everywhere for my phone. I couldn't find my phone. We called the police though, before the guys got there. I forgot to mention that. Like, my sister had her phone, and so my mom said, everyone stay calm, call the police. So my sister called the police. But just like minutes later, those people were there to help us. They pulled us out of the car. We got out of the car. My sister, she kept throwing up, which means she had probably like a concussion, a really bad concussion. So ambulances came. They took my sister first and my mom because they were like the ones that were like the most hurt. And my mom wasn't like necessarily hurt, but she was pregnant, so they wanted to like check, and everyone, you know, was like a little bit hurt, but I just felt 100% fine. I honestly was just in shock that that even happened, and it was the first car accident I had ever been in my life, and I was just so happy that everyone was okay. Obviously people were hurt, but like nobody like flew out of the windshield or anything crazy like that. But we get to the hospital. The second ambulance takes us to the nearest hospital, and I am the one that's fine. Everyone else is kind of, you know, not doing well. My mom's on like a bunch of wires. My little sister Navy, she had some injuries in her brain, if I can remember right, or something like that. So she actually had to be flown out to more like a big hospital in a big helicopter because she was not doing good. And anyways, the baby was all okay when they checked and everything. My one little sister, her name's Sadie, she was kind of like freaking out in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. She was having like a panic attack. And so anyways, we got to the hospital. I literally felt 100% fine. I was just trying to make sure everyone else was okay. This is when I found out that the car accident literally saved my life. Like, whoever gets to say that a car accident saved their life? I know 100 bazillion% that car accident was supposed to happen, and it was to save my life. I can't really think about it too much because I get emotional. The people who were the most injured, my mom and my little sister, and I think my other little sister that had like a panic attack, they were gonna go in and get a CAT scan. And that's just to make sure everything inside is like okay, and there's nothing like that I can't see on the outside, but like there could be something wrong on the inside. So anyways, the doctor asked if I was doing okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing fine. Like, I'm fine. I was the driver, and I don't like have anything wrong with me. And he said, no, I really think you should get a CAT scan. And I was like, really? I was like, I'm fine. Like, why not like my other siblings? I had 2 other siblings that didn't get CAT scans, and I mean, I just felt like I was totally fine, and he like insisted, no, I think we should do a CAT scan. So it was really weird. But I go into that CAT scan expecting everything to like be fine. And I remember my mom being hooked up to all these wires. The doctor comes out after I get that CAT scan, and he says something to my mom, and I remember like kind of being like confused because he said it kind of in private, and I could tell they were talking about something, and I heard my name, but like I didn't understand like why are they like hiding something from me. So anyways, the doctor, he had found a growth in my neck, pretty positive. Like to me it sounded like that it would be cancer, and I just like remember hearing those words and just kind of feeling like all of the noise went away, and just like I was taken back. And they didn't like obviously say anything because they didn't want to scare me or anything, but I just remember like they're not telling me something, and they're trying to hide something from me. And when he said like, you know, he doesn't know, but it could possibly be cancer, it was really hard for me to hear. So I just remember kind of like shoving it to the side and whatever. Once we get released from the smaller hospital, we go and check on my other sister who's in the hospital, who had like major, I think it was like a brain bleed, stuff like that. And once we found out, you know, that she was okay, it all hit me. I remember sitting in the hospital and thinking about what the doctor said, and I was super emotional, but I didn't really want to show it. I couldn't believe what he said. Like, he just found like a growth in me, like cancer. Like, anyways, I just had all these thoughts in my mind. I'm like, I don't know like what's gonna happen. And I just remember going to bed that night, dreaming all night about what it could be, and the car accident and everything. And it was just like a lot at one time. So as time went on, everyone in the car was fine. My little sister was fine, my mom was fine, the baby was fine, all my sisters were fine. So the next thing that we had to worry about is me. And I had this really aggressive tumor in my neck that was really, really aggressive, and it was basically eating my spine, and we didn't know if it was cancerous, benign, anything. And so I remember at the same time, Josh, my husband, he was on a mission. He wasn't my husband at the time, he was just my boyfriend. But he was in the hospital because he had some sort of virus in Argentina. I remember feeling so sad because I felt like he was hurt. I felt like something was going on with me, and everything was so unknown. Biopsy to even see what was wrong inside of me. The doctor said he'd never seen it before. Going in for my surgery, my first surgery, and it was just kind of weird because I did have moments where I was really, really emotional, and I just remember it being really hard. And I feel like I never really got to deal with my emotions, and because everything was just such, like, everything happened at once, and it was like super shocking. So I find myself even now just like thinking about it and getting really emotional because I feel like I didn't really get to deal with my emotions like in the proper way. Anyways, I get my biopsy, and I'm trying to just have a really positive outlook on it, and just like smiling, and like it's all gonna be okay, and being funny and stuff. But like, you know, deep down I was having a really hard time because I didn't know what was wrong with me, and it was really scary. And I just already had like this dramatic event that I don't know what's wrong with me. And like I could literally have cancer. Like, that is so scary to hear. And I was having a really hard time because my Grammy, she was dealing with breast cancer at that same time, and it was just like, why is everything going wrong? Like what's happening? It's really hard when really like awful things happen to really good people. So if you are dealing with somebody who has cancer or some sort of sickness, like I feel for you, and like God is there. Like, I promise God is there. And I feel like that was such a big thing for me, is like I always just felt God's love. And so I felt scared and sad, but it was like I also felt so much peace, and so I was able to just smile through it. And so after the surgery, it took like a week or so, it felt like forever, to figure out if I had cancer, if it was benign or if it was cancerous. I was very fortunate to have it come back as benign, which means it's not cancerous. So that was just so relieving to hear, because I just remember that time was so hard. The doctor did say, though, it is so aggressive. It is literally eating out your spine. We don't know how long it's been there. We don't know how fast, you know, it could just be deteriorating your spine, and your spine can just be gone. Like, the next thing was that they had to go in and they had to remove the tumor, and they had to get every little I don't even know the words they used, or else it would grow back. And so I got the surgery done. I had to wear a neck brace for 6 months or so. I was supposed to wear a neck brace when Josh came home from his mission, but I didn't. I think like it was okay. The doctor said it was okay just for that time, but then I had to put it back on. The thing is, this video of how a car accident saved my life, if we didn't get into that car accident, the doctor told me that I literally would be in a wheelchair and I probably would have died if we never found it. And the only reason we found it is because we got in that car accident, and that doctor had the feeling to give me that CAT scan. And it was such a blessing that we ended up getting in that car accident, which is just like so weird to say. And still to this day, you know, something that's hard is I don't know if it will come back in my neck, because obviously I don't know if that doctor got every little thing, but I am so grateful for the doctors that were able to do that for my neck. And I still have a really big scar, which just like reminds me about, you know, everything that happened and stuff. But it was honestly a big huge miracle, a big huge blessing that we were able to get in that car accident, and that I was able to find the tumor before it was too late, and before I had to be in a wheelchair, because it was so close to my spinal cord. Like, it's crazy. And I'm so blessed. I know that God had his hand in everything. And so if you or someone you know is dealing with something like this, just know, guys, I promise you that God has a plan. And it may not be what we want, and it may be so hard, because he has a plan, and it's really hard because we want things to be a certain way, but we really have to trust in God, because he knows better, and he knows what needs to happen at the certain times, and I trust that like 100%. And so I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful to tell that story today, because you know, I was really sad about leaving my mission that I was talking about, but I had to leave to be able to get in that car accident, to be able to find my tumor, be able to get it removed, and I'm so grateful. And I still have a really kind of like a hard time with my neck. I feel like it's really weak and stuff, but I'm very grateful to be alive and to have these things happen that we just don't understand, to be where I am today. And I hope my words are making sense, because I feel like I'm not always the best with words, and I mess up all the time on what I'm trying to say. I'm so grateful for all you guys watching, and that I'm able to have this platform to share how much God loves you, and to share my story of how I know that God is real and that he has a plan for us. That just strengthened my testimony so much. So I just want to thank you guys for being here and listening to my story. It really just felt like a strong prompting to share how much God loves you, and yeah, it makes me so happy to know that I'm a child of God, and you are too. And so I just want to thank you guys for watching this video and being here on my channel. And I always share the happy things, but I want to share the hard things and the real things too, because it's just really important, especially in the world we live in and where we are now. It's just important to remember the most important things and the reason why we're here. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining me on my channel, and I seriously love you guys. I just want you to all know that. I look over at my little plaque, and it just
That's sweet.
Oh, that scared me. What the heck? How's my computer? I just look over at my little plaque, and it just reminds me, like, I have so many best friends on this channel, and I'm so grateful for it. So thank you guys so much for your support and for supporting me and Josh and watching our videos, and I love you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.